Hello.
Hi.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to today's incredible Friday stream. It is the last of my March Madness where I streamed an insane amount, and I have some incredible guests with me today. So let's go around. Laura, do you want to start us off?
Sure. I am Laura Nettles. I write many things. So I have over 30 short stories published in anthologies, magazines, and podcasts. I put 101 of them together in a collection called Tiny Shivers that's out. But since then, I've written a vampire romance first draft, and I am querying my middle grade horror, and I have started on a Halloween romance with paranormal stuff. So I'm all over the place. My day job was to do light special effects for films. So I've worked on stuff like Spider-Man No Way Home, Hellboy, The Shape of Water, a plethora of stuff. But the industry has taken a turn and layoffs happened and I am unemployed. So that's me.
Awesome. What are you working on today?
Okay, so my Halloween romance came to me a week ago Wednesday, and I now have character profiles, I have family trees, I have lore on how it all works, because it's a romance between the Prince of Halloween, like A Night Before Christmas style. So he is the grandson of Dracula, and he falls in love with the son of the exiled boogeyman. So
hell yeah.
Yeah, it's so fun. And I will be journaling as my main characters in this journal that is record, and I have the family tree. And
wait, that looks so cool.
Yeah.
I'm just so excited.
Out of a record?
I'm trying to find my character voices, so I will be journaling as my characters. So I have come up with the timeline of like who was born when, who turned into a vampire when, who died when, who was like the whole shebang. So yeah, that's what I'll be working on.
Amazing.
Is it my turn?
Yes, it is.
Oh, okay. Hello, everybody. I'm Larry, otherwise known as LDJ Wrights on YouTube and everywhere else I exist on the internet. I'm working on this large world building project with all my books that take place in the same universe. It's called the Eternal Keyverse. Today, I'm working on the second book in my space opera science fiction trilogy. The best way I explain it is basically like if Star Wars, Hunger Games, and like the Gladiator movies all had a baby. And this is basically what like this series is about. So that's what I'm working on today. And
I'm assuming you've read Red Rising.
I have not, but I know what it is.
Okay.
And I do know I need to read it because people have suggested it many times.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, that's me.
All right. And I'll go last. Hi everyone. I'm Anna Robbins. I'm a fantasy writer who sometimes makes videos. Emphasis on the sometimes. And today I'm writing romantasy, as you can tell by my tag. I've been working for many months now on the first draft of a dark romantasy that's like Inception meets Pushing Daisies, and I know those two things sound like they don't go together, but they do. And I'm getting closer and closer to the end, little by little. I'm definitely in my like third act battle scene, fun, good times. So yeah, that's me.
I love that. Literally everybody's project sounds so fun and so good. And yes, I need it. I need it now. And hello, I am Tay. You are here on my channel. So thank you for being here, number one. And secondly, if you wouldn't mind giving this video a like, if you're liking the vibes, if you're liking all of my guests, one like equals one extra brain cell given to you.
Yes.
So a like is very important. And
amazing.
I am an authortube booktuber as well, and I'm also an indie author. This is my first book, Venture Below. This is book 2, Venture Beyond. It is a YA fantasy series full of adventure, action, fugitive princess, pirates, a magical plant, a very mysterious love interest, a king's assassination, an evil queen, lots of going on. But lots of stuff is going on. And I'm currently working on the third and final book in the Venture series, Venture Alone, which, you know, that title alone is just like, oof.
Sounds angsty.
Yeah.
And I am starting draft 2. I was telling everybody I basically deleted 45,000 words out of the 50,000 that I had. And I'm starting from scratch, so that's great. But we are on chapter 10, and that's what I'm hoping to get done during this stream. So fingers crossed that I can do that and be productive. But I'm going to go through the little hellos, and while I'm doing that, if anybody has any questions that they would like to ask us about writing, about our projects, anything at all, we would love to answer them. Ooh, I see that Ari is in the chat. Ari is here. We got Jade, Rachel, Ian,
Hello.
Lisa, Stu, Evelyn, Yanni. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
There's
Hello,
so many people
hello. Malin.
Hi, bestie.
Renee, Michael.
Wow.
Himself. Hello. Joy. Beth. Reputate. Always can rely on you, bestie. Reputate. You spawn
That's right.
Irene. Yes. Space opera. Like, I'm sorry. I need it. I need it now. Yes. I do. We all see the puppy. We all see. Oh,
His name is Roy. Roy Edward
Love Roy.
Nettles.
Oh my god.
hearts for Roy. Oh my gosh. Kayla. Kayla is
Sleeping on my
here.
hand.
Oh my
Sir.
god. Roy. One like. Oh, hello, bestie. Okay, we do have a question. Do you favor a specific program for formatting ebooks? Are you considering others for maybe future use? We can go around and answer if anybody actually has like a solid answer for formatting ebooks. I have no answer.
Same.
So I use readsy.com for my romance shorts that I have under a pen name. It's free. You can have as many exports as you want for free. At least, I think they just updated, but I think it's still free. They updated like yesterday. I was like, oh no, they're putting dark mode behind a paywall. But yeah, so it's just readsy.com, and you can you get 3 versions that you're able to, like 3 font types you're able to select from. So it's very limited. But it does the whole thing for you. You can enter your newsletter in the back, and you can choose your front matter and stuff like that, and it'll do all your links, like make them clickable, and everything for you. So yeah, just easy.
That's really nice. Anybody else have anything they want to add?
I
No?
wish I had an answer.
Yeah, I did not know that. I use Fiverr. I just pay a guy like very cheap, but he is so reliable and like he's on it. He's just incredible. Artie, his name's Artie. Love Artie. He's done both of my books.
Shout out
It's
to
like
Artie.
the simplest format, literally. Shout out to Artie because he gave me so much grace. The first book I did, I was like, I need this change. I'm so sorry, Artie. I'm so sorry. It's the 10th time, but please. And he's like, no problem. It's done. Boom. There you go. I'm like, I love you. I love you.
We love Artie.
Yeah,
The only-
I think what I'm gonna do is maybe get Vellum.
Mm-hmm.
So
I've
that.
heard of Atticus too, which is a little cheaper than Vellum, I think.
Okay.
And
And I
Atticus you
know-
can do on Windows.
Yes, yeah, that's the main thing, is that you can use it on both. And Jen's Bookshelf here on YouTube has done her books on Atticus, and so maybe check out her videos.
Okay. Awesome. Definitely. I hope that was a good resource for you, Elizabeth, and that we answered your question. Okay. How deep do you outline before drafting, if you outline anything at all?
So let's see. Where is my tab? There it is.
Also, hello from New Zealand. That's
Wow.
incredible.
Hello.
Welcome.
So let me share my screen.
Uh-oh.
Ooh,
You just sneak peek into the outline.
I love it.
I want to hold on. I'm on my phone. There's lots of steps. I have to do.
Yes, I'm leaning in.
Okay, there we
Oh,
go.
So-
wow.
I have wrong tab. Here we go. So I have created a bunch of bands with lyrics. So I am putting the lyrics for the chapters for the vibe, and then I'm just doing bullet points, and who the POV character is, and the bullet points. Like I have 6 bullet points, 5 bullet points. I've only done the first 4 chapters, and I've already started drafting.
So cool.
But
Yeah.
I'm attempting to use the whatchamacallit, romancing the beat. So I have the meet character 1, character 2, the meet cute, the no way, the adhesion plot 1. So that's what I'm attempting to do right now, for this one. But sometimes when I was crazy, I would do plot embryos. So
Plot embryo.
they look like this.
Oh wow.
Oh wow.
So I can't see. So in the center you have what they believe and what they should believe instead, like what they change to believe. You have the known world and the unknown world, and then the hero's journey around the outside.
Cool.
So
My
I
mind
would
is
do
blown.
these for all my POV characters and the villains and stuff. So you have those ones. So like it just depends. But like those aren't
You
chapter
outlined
by
very
chapter.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think the answer to that would be you outline very deeply.
Yeah.
I used to. And then this one was completely pantsed. And now for this current one, I'm doing bullet point headlights.
Yeah.
So
I love that. So it's kind of like a combination of those two. Like this project you're working on is like you're also plotting it, but with bullet points you're kind of pantsing like from one thing to the next, you know? That's so fun.
And I'm not bullet pointing the entire book because I know I'm going to veer off outline very quickly.
Yeah. I feel like my process varies book to book. Like the book I just finished, which was the last book in my 5-book fantasy series, I think I plotted a lot because I had a lot of different things in the air that I needed to like tie up and make sure plot lines were getting finished and stuff and character arcs made sense. But like in my current project, I have 3 files in my folder. I have one that's just like a long synopsis of the entire book where I was just kind of brain dumping everything I wanted to happen. And then from there, I like have another file where I have like all the themes I want to show up in the book and then potential plot points. And then like a long paragraph for each main character about like what I want their character arc to be. And then that's pretty much it. That's like all I've done so far. And I'm on chapter 4 of this book. So I'm kind of just, I'm going off vibes right now.
Yeah.
Vibes are important.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
I think well, Malin knows this already, but I don't do a lot. Before doing a 0 draft or a first draft, whatever you want to call it, I'll do a save the cat beat sheet, and usually, you know, by the point of starting a draft, I'll have a lot of ideas for Act 1 usually, so I'll have some framework for how the save the cat beats like line up with what I've brainstormed, and then by the time I get to like Act 3, it's real fuzzy, and I pretty much, you know, have the beats there in my outline, but they get a lot more vague in general by the time I get to Act 3. So I'm definitely a headlights writer. And the further I write into a 0 draft, I'm always changing my outline as I go. And sometimes, you know, going back 20,000 words and starting over and rewriting. And this book, I've gone back a lot and, you know, just adjusted things as I've gone. So, yeah.
I definitely, I think I'm going to have to start saying I'm a plotter, which is very new because I think I would have said I'm a planter more than anything. I used to do that, like just headlights, like a few chapters, I would feel it out and follow that. And very similar to what Larry said, like I'm on the last book of this series, so I had to be very consistent with what I'm putting in it. And this is the build up to the whole thing. So adding in this is what I realized was my problem with the first draft, was I was adding too many secondary conflicts when I already have like
Yep.
1,000 others. Not like it feels like it from the
Uh-huh.
first 2 books. So I was trying to add in these conflicts that didn't fit, and I couldn't give them enough time and energy because I'm dealing with huge ass problems that have been happening since book 1, and like
Mhm.
revealing things and solving those problems. So then having this little side love triangle, I was like, nobody cares. Like, we're trying to like win a kingdom. Like, nobody's gonna care about this. And I didn't even care about it. That's why I wrote it very shallow. So I ended up cutting a lot of secondary things out, and that's why I needed to re-outline. I don't know if I'll always be this in depth, because pretty much every chapter that I was outlining has like, it's chunky. I think my
Cool.
total outline my outline document is 8,000 words. So it's very in depth with like what is happening in each chapter. I don't know if I'll do that for every book, but I know for Venture Alone it needed it desperately.
Yeah, doing a book 3 is a whole different story.
It really,
Yeah.
really is. I'm still way the hell up here in the chat. Like, we'll never miss a stream. I do love this question though. What is a genre blend that intrigues you?
Ooh.
Romance and horror.
That's a good one.
Mhm.
Yeah. I guess I'll say this is like a cop out. I'm gonna just say science fiction and fantasy, because like I don't like hard science fiction, but I like when it has more fantastical elements. So
Yeah,
yeah.
I totally agree with that. I think paranormal anything is fun if
Yeah.
you could add a paranormal splash into something. Yeah, I'm here
love
for that.
Yeah, mine was going to be paranormal, but mixed with a mystery element, like a paranormal mystery, like engaging with like a ghost
Yeah.
or whatever. Like, just seems so interesting. I have one story idea. I want to try every genre just to like dip my
Yeah.
toes in, even if it's a short story, but just to feel like, I think, expand my brain a little bit as a writer, but also see what I'm actually drawn to, you know?
Yeah.
And have one that's like a paranormal mystery slash like cyberpunk setting.
Oh,
Okay.
that's crazy.
Minds type characters, like as the main found family. So I'm like, I don't know, but the vibes are there, and I want to write it, but I have no thoughts, just vibes.
Your
So I love
criminal
that.
mind people would be after my horror romance people because they're 2 serial killers courting each other, trading trophies.
Oh, I love Criminal Minds. Trevor and I
Ooh.
are doing a rewatch from the beginning again. This is like our 4th or 5th time. I just love Criminal Minds. I could talk about it forever. Okay, I'm trying to see what other questions we have. Okay, how much time, if any, do you spend between drafting and revising? To clarify, how long do you wait before you start revising? I like that question.
It depends on the book. For my middle grade, it's a pretty short one, so I didn't wait as long between drafts. But for like my full-on ones, I wait months, sometimes longer. It just depends. Like my short fictions, my drabbles that are 100 words even, I just reiterate right there on the spot over and over and over for like an hour, and then they're done.
Wow.
Yeah, I have a similar answer. I haven't really, I mean, I have multiple drafts of stories, but I've never like revised anything to like get published yet. But if I was going to, I'd say it'd be a couple months. I'd give it to like let the story get out of my brain first, and then attack it with new eyes. But like if I'm writing like a short story or like a short fiction, I just, keep churning out different versions of it until I have it the way I want it to be.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for me, it honestly depends on how burnt out I am by the end of the draft.
Yeah.
Because I think I definitely, like, once you cross that finish line, feel the, like, of, like, how hard you had to push to get to the end, if you're me. And it depends on, honestly, just, like, what else is going on in my regular life. Do I have, stuff going on this month, or am I really busy and it would be better for me to just pick it up when things are quieter? Like that honestly has a big effect on my writing. And I really like reading craft books in between drafts. I think that they're a great way to like have me be thinking about it kind of subconsciously and mulling over things without feeling like I'm doing a lot of deep work. So if I'm feeling really burnt out, reading a craft book can be a way to kind of like sneak in my vegetables in a way and get my mind thinking about it without, putting the pressure on sitting down and looking at the draft.
Yeah. When I think back to like the past 2 projects I've done specifically, like for Venture Beyond, I think I waited. So I finished the book and then I got a test copy for myself. So my gap of time was however long it took for me to get the test copy.
Yeah.
And that was my cooling off period, but I was on a very tight timeline I knew when I wanted to publish Venture Beyond. So it was probably like 2.5, 3-ish weeks. And honestly, that's about what I did from draft 1 to draft 2. I think for this project, but for this specific draft, like draft 2, when I finish it, I'm going to do one last read through just to catch any like obvious line errors or something. And then I'm going to send it to beta readers, I think 2 or 3. And then for me, my gap of time is going to be however long it takes them to get it back to me. So I would hope I'm going to give it like a month of time, but I'm on a very, very, very strict timeline for myself for Venture Alone. So I'm like, maybe get it back to me in a week, guys. I don't know. we gotta push. Which I don't always recommend that, but I feel like with this project, I feel very familiar with the plot. I'm like so invested in it. And I know, Joy, specifically, your project is huge. So my advice for you specifically would be to like take a pause, let your brain be creative on something else, and then come back to it like a reader would. That's my biggest advice for anybody, is to come back to your project like as a reader would. Like, how would you feel reading it? How's the pacing, the world building? And, I think more time gives you a bigger perspective, like a more bird's eye view of the story, as opposed to like focusing on the line, and more focus on the story. So yeah, that's my 2 cents. I'm going to do one more question and then we'll jump into our first 25-minute sprint. This is technically 2 questions in one from Rachel. Did you come up with a book cover before you finished your writing or after? And what was the thought process, inspiration for the cover of your book?
So the only book I have published is Tiny Shivers. And I had already had a bunch of these published elsewhere, so I was compiling them. So I came up with the cover idea and commissioned someone to do the painting on Fiverr. And then I did the actual text and stuff on it myself. So it was I actually had 2 ideas. I had this image for the front and a different one for the back. But they didn't seem to, because it was from 2 different stories in here, but they didn't mesh together visually as well. So I just went with this and then flip it and make it more transparent on a black background so you can read. Yeah. But so the book cover definitely came at the end, and I had a blast making it. So my inspiration was, I want it to be an homage to old school horror, but not like, I don't want it to be a super minimalist new horror cover, but I still want it to be obvious what it is. And so I went with this type of illustration, so it's like a blending of both time periods. So, but it's obvious what subgenre of horror a lot of these are by the imagery, because it's Lovecraftian tentacles.
Yeah, I'm definitely getting that vibe.
Very cosmic.
Yeah. So the first section is cosmic slithers in here, so it's a lot of tentacles. So you get what's on the tin.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah. Actually, coming up with a cover is like the first thing I do, even though none of my books are actually published. I come up with the title, and then I try to make like a cover. I go through Pinterest and like try to find like a cool image for like a potential scene in the book. And then like once I find the image and I come up with like a scene that'll show up later in the book, I'll usually have that be like the background for my cover. And that's like usually my process for like all my books. I wish I could show, I don't know, can I present
Yeah.
An image of the one for anarchists. Let
My
me see if I can
gosh.
figure out how to do this. Image file. Let's see. I've got multiple versions of all my covers, but this is the one that I'm using for right now. I think it's loading. Oh, there's an issue with my file.
No.
Well,
No.
I don't know how to describe it. It's got like a red moon in the middle, and like the whole cover's red, and it just says anarchist across the middle. It's a pretty cool image. If I can figure out how to show it, I'll show it later. But let me figure
We'll
out.
figure
You
it
can
out.
circle back to me.
Yeah, I don't really have any like final covers or close to final covers. I usually end up just messing around on Canva to make fun things just purely to motivate myself and to put on, like, I like to get a printed copy sometimes when I'm revising, and so I'll make something in Canva just to slap on the cover so it looks nice. But to be honest, like, I have a really hard time with titles. Titles do not come to me naturally. I don't have a title for the book I'm working on right now, and I didn't have a title for my last project until I think I was on the second or third draft. So sometimes, I'm making a cover to get it printed and it just says like the project name on it still.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's
This
me.
is
Very
the
casual.
back of
Yeah.
one of my covers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. What was the question? Okay, so I came up with the book cover after I finished Venture Below. And the inspiration specifically for this one was it focuses on Princess Adelaide. So it's got a princess on it. But the tree and the birds signify, how can I put this without spoiling this? Well, she's a fugitive princess. So something happens where she literally has to be that bird that, like, I love that the birds look spooked. Like, it doesn't look like they're flying away willingly. It's like they've been spooked out of their home. And that's the vibe for Venture Below. And then for Venture Beyond, it's a shattered mirror. And you can still see the remnants of the birds coming over. Okay. And there's a literal mirror that gets broken in chapter 1, but it also signifies this shattering of reality as we know it. And the tagline is truth is shattered. So it's very metaphorical and literal in the sense that there is a broken mirror. And then the third book for Venture Alone, I'm not going to finish the cover. I have like a basic template for myself when I like throw it up in videos and like reference the book. But I'm going to finish it after this draft, probably. I like to know the full scope of the story just for this series specifically. And that one's going to have the Plant of Hollow, fingers crossed, and a sword, possibly a shattered sword. Or with blood. I haven't really decided. But I'm very excited about that one. And I make the covers myself. So it's a lot of pressure. That's why I'm putting it off. I'm just gonna I'll get to her at some point. I don't know. And then for my other projects, I have no idea what I'm gonna do. Venture is all I have known. Okay. I really don't know what we're doing. But yeah, I loved that question. Let's go through the comments. I think that's in reference to my cyberpunk paranormal criminal mind.
Sounds so good.
Oh my gosh, Reputate. I'm so sorry. She has read both Venture Below and Venture Beyond, and I was telling Larry and Laura that it ends on a very intense cliffhanger. Where like I literally like kill someone. And so and I'm so sorry. And it may be coming sooner than November, but you didn't hear that from me. You didn't hear that from me.
Yeah.
You didn't. You didn't. September. Who said that? Who said that? Freaking shut up. It was I should just shut my mouth. Saoirse, hello. Welcome. Saoirse's in the house. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah. Maybe take your time. Leah. But this is a perfect segue to jump into our first 25-minute sprint. We are so excited to get into it.
Let's do it.
I will say we do last lines here on my channel. So that's kind of like my we got to see, make sure everybody's being productive and writing.
Accountability.
Yeah, I can't promise to read every single person's last line in the chat, but I will be reading them and going through them. And yeah, if you have any questions while we are in this chat or in this sprint, put it in the chat. There we go, Taylor. There we go. Good luck to everybody, and we will see you in 25 minutes.
Hello.
Hello, hello. How did everybody do?
So good.
Good.
Really good,
Got just
actually.
over a page handwritten in
Ooh.
my character's little
Ooh.
10-year-old journal.
Oh my gosh.
Aw.
Yeah. I love that. Do you want to share your last line with us?
It says, I hope our holiday will make families feel closer together.
Ooh.
Nice. I got sorry. I got 577 words done, about a page and a half.
Heck yeah.
And my last line was, the question rattled off in his head like a gunshot, ever present and thunderous, impossible to get rid of.
Excellent. I pretty much just spent that sprint reading the scene that I wrote on Wednesday. So no added words just yet. I just kind of did some tinkering, but I'll read the line that I was on when the timer went off. I don't love it, but suddenly we break through the water into a black abyss.
Ooh, not the black abyss.
Not the black abyss. It's abyss
Okay.
time.
Okay, mine I can share. It is the last line I wrote. It makes zero sense to anybody but me for the context, but it's the last line, isn't it? Okay. That's when I noticed the queen's sleeve was still pulled up, and it was evident the fracturing lines had done nothing but grow.
Ooh.
Yep, no context.
Very ominous.
Yes, that is. Sounds like a curse or something.
Yeah, or like a sickness or something.
Or a
Ruh-roh.
Oh.
That's incurable. Okay. I didn't say it. I didn't.
Or that.
Fucking, who is saying that? I'm gonna pull
It's a
out
ghost.
a question because we have some really awesome questions here, and we can collectively just be reading people's last lines in the chat. But this question is, what is the strength in your writing style, and also give your writing style a color?
Ooh.
My strength is descriptive prose. I do a lot of using the 5 senses in my prose. Yeah.
Yeah, this is a tough question when I saw it.
I guess it would be purple. It's more on the purple prose side.
My favorite color. I love it.
I think I'm pretty good at writing like fast-paced scenes. So like action scenes or like, yeah, I feel like that's probably my greatest strength. So like a color, maybe red. Especially with this book, I'm saying red.
Cool. I think for me, I hope it's dialogue. I work really hard on dialogue, and I try to like say all my dialogue so it sounds like a human. And I try to, write it in a way that people talk. I don't know if I'm successful. I hope I am. As for a color, I found this really hard. I'm one of those people who I'm really not very visual. I definitely have whatever synesthesia is. I have the opposite.
Me too. Aphantasia.
Yes, yeah, I find it difficult with these kinds of questions, but I think I'm going to say blue because both this book and my last book had the color blue was just a theme in a lot of different ways, so I'm going to go blue.
I feel like Larry and I are very similar. Like I was basically going to say the same thing. But I think in my writing style, I try to do a very good job of like forcing you to keep turning the page. Like I do my best to like you said, like fast paced, like that mentality of like just one more chapter. Like I just need to know this one little piece of the point, like what is happening in the plot. Like I need to put it together in my head and like piece it and all of that. And I was going to say red, but I think I'm going to make it more specific and say like a blood red. But I also like to kill. I also love to kill. I love to kill my characters. So I think that's my answer for that question, I think.
That's a good question.
Yeah, I love that. Okay, from Joy, at what point in your life...
Sorry.
Oh, the timer.
Yeah. Wow. Okay, that means this question is really good. That means this question is really good. That's what that means. At what point in your life did you know you wanted to be a writer? I love
2018.
Oh.
August. Yeah, so August, September. I had not really written. I was more an artist, like painting and drawing.
this.
And so growing up, it was always my friend was going to write the stories and I was going to illustrate the stories.
Cool.
But then I was looking up bullet journal videos and I came across a bullet journal for something called NaNoWriMo. And I was like, what the heck is that? And then I learned about it and I was like, I'm going to do it. And I won my first nano right out the gate.
Wow.
Haven't
That's
looked back since.
crazy to be
Yeah.
like, I've not dabbled in writing before, but I'm just going to win NaNoWriMo. That's crazy.
That is crazy.
It was fun.
It was meant to be.
Yeah, you found your calling, clearly.
Yeah. I've got two answers for this question. So like I first started writing when I was like 8 years old. Like my mom would like give me this clipboard with like a bunch of line paper on it and I would write like short stories that were like complete ripoffs of whatever I was reading at the time. So like my first short story I wrote was like a complete ripoff of like the Chronicles of Narnia. And then I would do that, and then but like when I really wanted to like be like an actual writer, when I was like learning how to write and stuff, was like when I was like 14. So yeah, about that age, like freshman year of high school, that's like when I was like, yeah, I really like writing and I want to write books.
Cool. Yeah, my answer is very similar to Larry. It feels like I've always wanted to write, from an elementary school age. I can remember specifically, I was really, really into reading the Magic Treehouse books.
Yeah.
And I was caught up with them so that as soon as Mary Osborne published one, I would be going to the bookstore, getting it, reading it in 2 hours. And my mom like explaining to me like you can't have another one because the author needs to write it. And that was like the light bulb moment in my head where I realized like these don't just come from the ether,
Yeah.
like a person writes these. And that was kind of like a life-changing moment to realize like just there's one woman out there who's like doing my favorite thing ever, which is writing these Magic Treehouse books. And that was so cool to me.
I love that. I really think Larry and I have the same life experience. So I was gonna like literally the same thing. I wrote my first story when I was 8. It was about a lion, and it was a complete ripoff of a dolphin book. Natalie and I think she did the same thing when she was a kid. The same book, which I was like, that's crazy. And then my freshman year of high school was when I started taking it seriously, and I would write in a journal, like handwrite, and then I would share it with my friends. And then that's when I discovered Google Docs. And that's when I literally would write the story and like send it to my friends like episode by episode. I have a friend from 8th grade who still has some of my first chapters from the original Venture Below. I was like,
wow,
that's crazy work. So
when's the reaction video coming?
You have to. You have
never
to.
Burn it. I have some sick ideas from high school actually. But I did NaNoWriMo my senior year of high school. It was actually an assignment for my class, and
cool.
I wrote my first ever 50K ever in my life. I finished the story, but it was so bad. And the funny thing is that turned out to be Venture Beyond. That book is Venture Beyond, and Venture Below is a book I wrote in 8th grade. So I just rewrote them completely and made them bridge together, and that's what became the Venture series.
Wow.
And I think the moment when I decided, like, I'll make it more specific, when I was like, I want to be an indie author, was in 2021, I think. I was telling my friends about the book idea I had in 8th grade, which was the original Venture Below, and they were just so excited and like, that sounds so good. Like, what are you doing? And I was like, I should rewrite this. And then I just kept that passion going. And I was like, well, I know nothing about indie author publishing, or I know nothing of nothing. Let's just hit publish on Amazon KDP and not edit anything and like have a good time. And it's fine. So I've learned a lot. There's a lot of things I wish I would have done, like take my time and slow down a little bit. But I just know if I hadn't have hit like publish when I did, I probably wouldn't have. And I probably would have given up to be honest. So I'm grateful for it, even though I am going to come out with the second edition of Venture Below, probably in the summer. That's a more, similar to how I write right now. So yeah, I love that question. Next one we have is, how do your friends and family respond to you being a writer? Are they supportive, treat it as a hobby, think you're the next New York Times bestselling author? How do they react?
So it's a mixture with my parents. So they're like, why do you write dark things? It's like, I like horror. And then they are very conservative. So like they can't know about my queer books. And so it's like keeping that part hidden. And my mother actually has written a book that she's trying to query, but it's like a cozy mystery. So very clean, but there is murder. But yeah, so it's a mixed bag. They know I should not pursue it as a full-time job because I need to survive. So just trying to find a job in the interim, but writing while I'm still job hunting has been okay. So like they're glad that I get short stories published and stuff, and that I have accolades that way, but it's like, really? Do you have to write something so dark? Yeah, that's me.
I'd say my friends and family are pretty supportive. I didn't tell anyone I wrote until I was like 18, I think. Because when I first started like writing books when I was 14, I was like publishing on Wattpad, and then like between those 4 years, I had like gained a decent like following, and like I was in like Wattpad's like creator program, and like I had one of my books featured, and like I remember I was in the back seat of my friend's car. We were going somewhere, and like I got the email that my book got featured on the homepage, and I started freaking out, and they were like, "What's like going on?" And I was like, "Oh, my book went viral," and they were like, "You write books?" Like, that's how they found out, and they've all been super supportive. They don't really read that much, and I don't like expect them to like read my stuff. But if I were to publish something, they would definitely buy it. So, and my mom's pretty supportive. She's always asking me when I'm gonna let her read my stuff. But yeah, I got no bad experiences really telling people that I write.
Yeah. I think like that's always been the fear when you grow up as a writer and you're a teenage writer and then you become an adult writer. I never told anyone anything about my stories. I was just so afraid of the judgment I would receive. And then like now as an adult, I've made efforts to like actually talk about it and tell people when they ask like, what are your hobbies? I'll tell them I'm a fantasy writer. And I've always been met with excitement. People's eyes light up, and then they're like, oh, I write books too. And like I've had people in my life where I've known them like, casually for like 2 or 3 years, and then just finally on the night where I was ready to tell them, oh, I write books, they'll be like, oh, me too. And it's like, we could have been writing friends for 2 years at this point, but yeah, everyone in my family is very supportive. Yeah, I went to school for writing, but I always I never intended writing to be a full-time job for myself, because I had loans for school. So I was like, yeah, I need to get a job with my English degree. And that's what I did, even though, my parents were very supportive of me writing. And I just last year showed my mom a draft of my book. And that was the first time that she'd read my writing probably since I was 10 years old. So I'm trying to be better about just being vulnerable with the people in my life about it.
Yeah. I love this question. I have a very good support system when it comes to trying to be an indie author. And it's honestly hard for me to like you said, like be vulnerable and be like, yeah, I'm an indie author. Like I have a hard time with that, and I don't know why. Trevor is actually the best at doing that. Like,
yeah. My husband has outed me to like 5 different people.
Yes. Like he'll be like, "Oh, well, she's an author. She has a book out. You should get it on Amazon." Like, did you know that? And I'm like, "Hey, shut up! Don't tell them about that. That's a secret." And it's not at all. But and my family is incredibly supportive. Like my extended family, like when Venture Below came out, they bought a ton of copies and like all had me like sign them. And it was just sweet and wholesome. And even my friends, like super supportive. I will say the whole New York Times bestseller thing is kind of true. I don't think there's a disconnect between like understanding I'm an indie author as opposed to like I got a big book deal and like now you can buy my book. Like I think there's that disconnect, and people were like, "Wow, like so what publishing house?" Or like how'd you get it published? And I'm like, I went to Amazon.com and I hit publish. Like that's what I did, and it took a lot of work. But so yeah, I will say it's very supportive, but it's also I'm trying to get better at even when I meet new people and like there's a bookstore, coffee shop, and like when I'm introducing myself and having a conversation, having that vulnerability to be like, yes, I'm an indie author. Can I give you some inventory? Like that's just a hard, I don't know. And I've never been rejected, but I think it's that fear of rejection of like, no, like you're not good enough. This isn't good enough work. And it's just, that's never happened, but it is that anxiety behind it. So for you, Jessa, I say, tell the whole world that you're a writer because there's so many more of us out there, just like Anna said.
Yeah.
Another awesome question from Rachel. Do you have a favorite location to write? For example, your bedroom, office space, or coffee shop?
There was a coffee shop in Toronto I like to write at. I've since moved back to California, so I can't go to it, alas. And I write in my bed a lot because my dog can snuggle me as I do it. And yeah, like my biggest writing when I did over 9K was when I kept switching locations every couple hours. So I would do like the bedroom, the living room, the library, the coffee shop, and back to the living room. So libraries have been helpful to go write at because it's free and you don't have to buy anything to be like, it's okay to take up space here. So, yeah, those pretty much my bed and the library.
Yeah, my room's probably my favorite location just by default because I write at my desk a lot. But I like going to coffee shops because I feel like I'm more productive there because there's less distractions. And like seeing everyone else working around me kind of makes me not just want to sit there looking like I'm doing nothing. So I guess I would say a coffee shop is my favorite location, but I write the most in my bedroom.
Yeah, same here. It's kind of a boring answer for me, but it's here just because I'm a remote worker, so I've put a lot of effort into making this desk very ergonomic for me. And I have quite bad wrist tendonitis, so it only takes like an hour or two of laptop work for me to just get like totally flared up and have hand pain. So unfortunately, being here at this desk really works for me, and I can raise it up and stand. I also have a treadmill. I love walking and writing because then I'm like, oh, I'm multi-productive. I get 2 gold stars for this. But yeah.
I love that. Mine is right here, right where you see me. This is the space that I think is my favorite because I associate it with being productive. I mean, I eat breakfast here. I eat dinners here. I mean, this is my dining room also in the RV, but it kind of is my office space as well. Like you said, like this is my little comfy area. I've got my books. I've got this little vibe set, and it just feels so comforting. But I also love coffee shops. I really do. There's not really one for me to go to in this town, but like Larry said, like something about like seeing people also being productive, and then I'm sitting there and I'm like, I want to look mysterious. Like typing and then be like, what is she doing? And it's like, I'm just typing. Like, what am I doing? You don't know. You don't know. But I'm a writer. You're gonna guess. I'm a writer.
I'm researching murder weapons.
Yes. Blood laws. How long does it? Anyway,
what type of blood splatter from different
Who said
wounds?
that?
What would you put on your website as someone who is working towards publishing but not there yet? Ooh.
This is a good question.
This is a
My
great
website at first was just all of my professional lighting stuff for work, and then I added on the author side. So I don't know an answer to this question.
I had a website a couple years ago. It now no longer exists, but it will soon. But what I did have up there, I had a blog where I would like post like world building stuff, and then I would have like my book covers and like summaries of my books that link to Wattpad on there too. So yeah, I mean, a blog would be a good thing to have on a website if you don't have anything published, because people can still kind of learn about you that way, and then they can stay up to date on your publishing journey if you're on the road to publishing something. But yeah, that's like all I can think of to put on there if you actually don't have any books out yet.
Yeah, this is a great question. I've kind of fiddled around with a website. Nothing is live, but I have like a Squarespace site that is pretty much done. I just don't feel like paying for it right now. But I totally modeled it after Katie Ann Wright's here on YouTube, because she talked about how when she was querying, she had a website. And that was something that her agent noticed in her query letter, was that she had a website, and her agent to be went and looked and saw all the project pages she made for her works in progress. Katie has like a million ideas, so she had a lot to put on her website. But that was something that her agent like was really interested in, and got the chance to see what she was passionate about and all the different projects she kind of had on the back burner. And so when I made my draft, I made project pages, like here are the 3 books I'm kind of working on right now. Here are the tropes, like the book talk of it all.
Mood board.
The mood boards, and I put a little like excerpt of like 250 words or something to just like give the tone. And I put the status, like draft 2 with betas. I don't know if I'll ever like publish the website. I don't know if I'll ever query and if potential agents would ever look at it, but it was fun to make.
Yeah, that's genius. The putting your projects on there, even if they're not complete, but just like
Yeah.
get the mood board, a playlist, even like that is that's genius.
Just to get them attracted to it.
I love that idea, especially if you're trying to query and like get an agent so they can get an idea for who you are, but also your type of projects that you're drawn to. I love that idea, actually. That's really, really good.
Yeah.
Just like Larry. Just like Larry. I have a website, but I don't. Yeah, I used to have when I made it when I first published Venture Below, because when I looked up what the hell do I do as an author? Like, what do I do? That was like the very first thing they recommended. And I was like, okay, sure, I'll make a website. So I made it like super official. I did all this stuff. And then I just never touched it again. So this conversation is making me think I should probably make a website, especially because I have 2 books published. And yeah, this is making me like, And I like the idea of like having a tab maybe for like the Venture series and like each book. And
Yeah.
It was very fun. Just as,
That is a great idea.
a procrastination.
Yep. I've sunk so much hours into making websites.
Thank you.
Totally.
No, I'm going to do it for hours instead of writing this. Okay, next question. What's the weirdest thing you have ever researched for a book? There we go with the search engine. There we go. There we go.
Police response times to 911 calls in certain counties.
I feel like I've researched that too. But like in the summer, I wrote a murder mystery detective thriller book. So I had to like Google a lot of police and like serial killer stuff. So that, like the effects of cyanide poisoning.
Yeah.
That was like one of the first things I Googled. That might have put me on a list.
Yeah, I'm trying to think a lot. I usually end up writing like high fantasy of some kind. So I'm usually like going down rabbit holes of like different kinds of swords. And like I also end up Googling a lot like what are the different pieces of a suit of armor called, like the vambraces and whatnot. Nothing like obviously a lot of poison. There's some poison stuff in there. Different kinds of like poison mushrooms, of course. That's all that's coming to mind.
Yeah, mine is, it's a fantasy. So I very much was like, whatever I'm feeling, you know, I try to have it be consistent, but I can change it, you know, depending on what I want and stuff. But I think, like I was saying, like the blood loss thing, or like where can you stab someone, and like how long does it take for them to die, or like what's the longest like somebody can go, you know, like that type of stuff. Because then it's like the conversation if they're having with somebody, like how much time do I got, and like trying to keep it at least basic like physics, making it make sense, like in biology. Because my characters are human, so that type of aspect. But that's probably the craziest thing I've Googled, and it's, but maybe more. I don't know. I think I do it on such a whim that I can't even think of.
Also, when I'm zero drafting, I cannot be bothered to Google something.
Oh, I have to right
for
there.
real.
I'm like,
I'm writing brackets.
I don't remember, and that's such.
What are the medicinal properties of devil tooth mushrooms?
Like, look it up, girl. Later, I can't do it. Okay. What's the weirdest thing you have ever researched for a book?
I think
they posted it for the same.
I think they might have asked the same question twice.
I love that. Okay,
I'm different accounts.
Okay, yeah, it's on their same account.
Oh, bye, Susha. Goodbye, friend. Living like Larry. I should make a website. I think
it's time.
I may make one. I think it's been past time. Oops.
Yeah.
It's okay. It's fine. It's fine. Does it count if I had a medieval torture method user base in 8th grade? Interesting.
Miley's also on a list too.
Yeah. Sign someone has been abducted by an alien.
That's pretty funny.
The best I could think of would be finding out how tall a large male wolf might be. Ooh, to the shoulder?
Getting a werewolf vibe from that.
I did research on the fantastical wolf that are actually historically based in France. I can't remember what they're called, but like the king actually sent people out to go kill these wolves out that were murdering people around the countryside and stuff. Wow. And so I was doing research on those wolves so that because they do disappear. And so I was like, well, what if they disappeared into the Paris catacombs? So I had to do some of that type of research and watch videos of people spelunking in the Paris catacombs for research.
Spooky.
Oh my gosh. Well, if anybody has any more questions, we'll do like one or two more, and then we'll jump into our last 25-minute writing sprint. But this is some very interesting conversations.
Yeah.
Is it a this one?
Yeah.
I don't even know how to say that word.
I won't even try. Leah, you lovely French woman. I cannot even. Do you know about the bull? Question mark?
The brazen bull? Yeah.
Oh.
Medieval torture method.
Interesting. Tarring, what is happening in this chat? Oh my god. Okay. I mean, recently I had to find out if it's possible to.
Oh,
it is.
That is possible. Yeah.
Okay, said it's like writing through a carrot.
Yeah.
This is a great question. How do you get motivated and stay motivated to write?
For me, it comes in waves. Sometimes I will have a month or 3 of reading, and then I will have a month or 3 of writing. And so I just oscillate of refilling the well and draining that sucker dry, and then refilling it again. So, yeah, just make sure that you're refilling your creative well so that you're not just trying to fill an empty bucket all the time with nothing.
Yeah, my answer is similar. It comes in waves, but like reading helps me get motivated again. Like if I read a really good book, it like motivates me to like make my writing style better. Or if I like watch a movie, I'll get like a new idea or something. And also thinking about the end of my story, because I have a very clear end in sight. Like all my different series, they converge in another series, so I have to finish them to get to that story. So I'm like, that's my goal. So that's what keeps me motivated to like finish all of these books.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes and goes. Like, I feel recently like I've been in a slow creative period where I am kind of just writing when I feel like it. I'm treating it more casually, but there have been times like in 2023 where I took it way more seriously. And I think that year I did 2 drafts in the year, and that was a lot for me. And when I was in that period, motivation isn't even really a part of it. Like motivation doesn't have to be there for you to write. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? You still sit down in the chair anyway, and once you get a few sentences in, it's like, oh, okay, I can do this. But not letting like that stop you from actually sitting down and trying.
Yeah. That's really, really similar to what I was going to say is like, how do I get motivated? I never really am.
I never want to do it. That's the hack. I never want to.
Like, I think passion and motivation are very different things in my head, and I'm very passionate about my work, but it's like sometimes getting that initial spark to like do the work, like sit down and get into it. Like I can romanticize it in my head and like imagine myself like lighting a candle and like getting a coffee and like sitting down, and then I open my laptop and I'm like, no, no, I don't want to do this. And it's very hard for me to sometimes just even get that far as to opening up my document and getting ready to write. But once I'm there and I start rereading what I had written and I remember where I'm going with the story, I get excited. And then that's where the passion really fuels the motivation. Yeah. So I say not rely on your passion, but just if you aren't motivated, remind yourself that you're passionate. Remind yourself of like the goal in mind. And I mean, some things that keep me motivated are like live streams like this or having a body double, like literally FaceTiming a friend. Like I was talking to Becca earlier today and working on my project. Like that just keeps me motivated. Having somebody there that's like, okay, we're doing a sprint and you have to write or you have to execute this productivity thing. And that really, really helps. So I hope we answered your question, Oblivion. I love that name, by the way.
Good question.
I love that. Yeah, that's a great question.
One other quick thing is you can make a list of your favorite things about your whip.
Oh,
so
love that.
When you get low on motivation, pull that out and see if that can re-spark what you're excited about the whip.
Mm-hmm. I love that. Okay, 3 words, vibes for your current whip.
If no one's ready to go first, I can go first.
Go for it.
You were prepared.
Yeah, I saw this one and I was like, it came to me because I wrote this in my brain dump file for this book. But like the 3 words, it's like a phrase, but it's like war is red.
A slogan.
Yeah.
Wow.
Very good. Very
That's
good.
so visceral too. Like I love that. That has layers. Wow.
Yeah.
Laura, Anna, anybody but me?
Rebellion, poetry, and haunting.
Ooh. This is gonna sound really weird. Salty, steamy, divine.
Delicious.
It sounds like I'm describing a menu.
I gotta say, like, if I'm trying to be basic, this isn't really vibes. This is more like literal. I would say like war, death,
sadness,
pain. There is okay. Maybe we'll throw in hope. We'll take
there
out
you
death.
go.
Okay.
We'll keep pain. We'll take out death. Well, I'm torn between one. But yeah, I will throw in hope. I think hope is a pretty big theme, because that's really the only thing my characters have.
Dang.
For a lot of this, it's like they just keep getting blow after blow. But we love them. They are competent. It's just the villain is also competent.
Yeah, we love a competent villain.
Yeah, those are my words. I also was contemplating, like, instead of haunting, I'm gonna go haunted. One of my characters specifically is haunted.
Oh my god.
By their past and what they've done. So yeah, I love that question. Love that question. I also like the alternate question, and then we will jump into our sprint. But that is 3 words that are the exact opposite of the vibe of your web.
Oh shoot.
Yeah, this one's a little harder.
Now Larry's like, wait a second. I didn't have this one prepared.
Whimsical. Fluffy. Shoot.
Oh, really quick. Good night, Leah. Good night. Bye. Okay, I'm jumping back to the question. Okay, there we go.
I'm thinking like calm, peaceful.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Peaceful.
Like that. Larry.
Oh, it's my turn? Oh.
Yeah.
Dang, I was gonna say peaceful. I can't say peaceful now.
You can have it. We can share.
Okay. Yeah. I'm gonna say peaceful. Slow. It's definitely not slow.
Mm-hmm.
I can't get this third word.
This is difficult.
I think
to
my
do.
This
third-
is hard.
My third would be platonic.
There you
The
go.
opposite, healthy, cozy, honest.
Yeah,
Ooh,
healthy is a good one.
Yeah.
healthy.
You guys are much better at this than me.
Did you already say yours, Anna?
I went peaceful, calm, and platonic.
I like honest. I think. Ooh, what's the opposite of betrayal?
Loyal.
Loyal.
Yeah, loyalty.
There we go. We'll go with loyal. I like honest. I think I'm gonna have to go with honest. And yep,
Yeah, it's
peaceful.
that
I
third
don't know.
word.
That's a hard one. That's a hard one. The opposite of all of the bad things. I also loved, where was it? Peaceful writer. Taylor's 2 words. Cliffhanger. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I'm pretty brutal with the cliffhangers. Ooh. Okay. Yeah, I think we are going to have to jump into our last writing sprint because we have been yapping for quite a minute.
Good questions.
Yeah.
I loved those questions so much. So I'm going to pull it up. We are going to do another round of last lines. Good luck to everybody, and we will see you in 25 minutes. Okay, everybody, that's 25 minutes. How did we do? How did everybody do?
Good.
I did some interesting
Awesome,
research on Chernobyl's influence on horror.
Whoa.
That's very
Interesting.
interesting. I love that. Okay.
Yeah, because my main character turns 10 and gets his diary like a week after Chernobyl. So it's like, he's in Halloween, probably going to have an influence with like the spiritual offerings aspect of the veil being thin, as well as melty zombies now.
Oh my
Ooh.
gosh.
I like that. I like that. Do you have a last line or a last fact maybe that you got from your research?
My last 2 lines is Tenebris can already transform into a bat. V can too. We don't know if I ever will since I'm not a full-blooded vampire.
Oh my gosh.
My poor baby boy.
Oh.
I love that though.
I got, I think, 500 words done in this
Nice.
sprint. In this chapter, my main character Iggy and his best friend Jackson are trying to like track down some information from someone. And the information may or may not be true, so they just found the guy that has the information. And my last line is, Jackson strode forward, breaking through the sea of listeners, and stopped in front of the storyteller.
Intriguing. Yeah, that was good for me. I got back into it actually this time because, last sprint I was just remembering where I was, and so I'm starting a new scene, so it's a little slow. I got 379. And my last line was, he's focused entirely on the incense sticks, lighting one as quickly as possible, and once smoking, clumsily passing it through the air above me and around the altar. And my tense was really messed up, and I had to correct it as I was saying it.
I
Don't you
love
love when
that.
that happens?
Also, I have to acknowledge that Tia is so late.
Yeah.
Tia!
Tia! It's okay. Just rewatch it. Just rewatch it. I ended up getting 485 words. I was eating a full lunch dinner, and kind of, I have a video that's supposed to go up tomorrow, and I'm including footage from this. So I was like kind of editing at the same time. But I did manage to get 485. I did finish chapter 10. So
Nice.
Nice
cool.
job. Nice work.
And my last line is, as soon as she is laid to rest, we'll leave for blank.
Ooh.
So, yeah, that's the last line. But wow, this was so much fun. I'm really glad we did this because just like when we were talking about being motivated, I was not motivated to do this at all. And look at that, a chapter done. A chapter
Exactly.
done.
There you go.
So thank you guys so much for joining me on the last March Madness Friday stream. Really quick, let's just go around. You can tell the people where they can find you, how they can support you, if you have anything else you'd like to share.
I am Lauren Nettles. I write horror, I write romance, I write all these sorts of things. I do have a YouTube channel. I streamed last night. I stream like every other Thursday. And I don't know. I haven't had a video come out for 2 weeks. I should make one. Yeah, I stream all the time on other people's channels. Nia the Vixen Fiction on Tuesday, JC Carpenter on Wednesday. It's either me on Thursdays or Tiffany TL Rest Lifestyle on Thursdays, and I'm just everywhere.
Awesome. Where can they find your book?
So, Tiny Shivers is out on Amazon. It is in KU. There are signed copies on my Ko-fi if you want that. I have stickers and some bookmarks and postcards for swag and stuff. So, yeah.
Yay. Amazing.
I'm LDJ Wrights everywhere, Instagram, YouTube, Wattpad, if you guys want to read like some first drafts of some of my books. I post videos every Sunday, asterisk on the every, but yeah, I should have a video coming out this Sunday. Thinking about launching a Patreon and a Discord community server soon and a website. So just, yeah, stay tuned for all of those things. But yeah.
Awesome. Very exciting. And I'm Anna Robbins. I make videos sometimes when I feel it, hopefully monthly, but it wasn't the case for February and March. I'm sorry. But I'm always around streaming. You'll see me in lots of chats. And Malin and I are hosting our Lazy Gang chat on Sunday. So we get together once a month, and it's more of a chatty stream where we talk about, craft or just being a writer, and we just yap with like a little bit of sprints. And our topic, I think, actually, we were talking about motivation earlier. I think we're gonna do a topic something along that lines, like self-motivation and goals as a writer and what drives you to write. So we're going to talk about that on Sunday on Malin's channel.
Woo! I love that so much. Make sure everybody to subscribe to everybody's channels. I know they were saying they don't post that often, but when they do, you want to be there for it. So make sure to subscribe to all my incredible guests. Again, thank you guys so much for being here. I am Tay. You are here on my channel, and if you haven't subscribed yet, maybe consider clicking that subscribe button and turning on post notifications so you can get notified when I post a new video or when I go live. You can buy Venture Below and Venture Beyond on Amazon or Kindle Unlimited if you would like to support me. I also have a members page here on YouTube. And yeah, I post every Saturday. Tomorrow is going to be a intensive, brutal writing vlog about deleting 45,000 words of my draft. But yeah, so thank you guys so much for being here and hanging out with us tonight. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day, evening, weekend, and we will see you somewhere else on the internet. Bye, guys. Bye.